Welcome back. It's Kevin Toll Reads. I hope you're doing well. I am here with the book tag. This is the Clean Slate tag. It was created according to Jess at Jess Book Girl TV, who tagged me several weeks ago. Sorry, Jess. I'm just now getting to this. But it was tagged. She found this on a channel that is apparently no longer there. The channel name was Catalyst Reads. And so Jess has resurrected this book tag, and I thought it was an interesting one. Really interesting questions. And so I definitely want to reciprocate. And so here's my response to this. I will link Jess's video below so you can go check it out. But there are 10 prompts. The 11th prompt is tagging others. So let's dive right in. And so the first prompt is, are there any genres that you're going to read more or less of in 2025? And the simple answer is, I'm going to read more of pretty much everything except romance. I'm going to try to read more nonfiction. I'm going to try to read more westerns. I'm going to try to read more crime noir. I'm going to try to read a couple classics. I'm reading The Count of Monte Cristo right now. Just trying to branch out a little more. So more of everything except romance, which I'm not going to read because it's not my genre. So that's easy. Number 2, are there any books you've read recently that have changed or challenged some of your beliefs or perspectives? Lonesome Dove, In the Heart of the Sea, the Sackett series come to mind because they've changed my beliefs and perspectives of books that I would enjoy. I didn't think I would enjoy any of these books and the Sackett series because my always preconception, and over the course, if I go back, beyond the last 12 months, is that westerns are not for me. Nonfiction is just a genre I'm never going to relate to. And Lonesome Dove was a big Western book that just seems like it's not in my wheelhouse. And I was wrong about all of those things. Lonesome Dove is an incredible Western book. Westerns in general, I've really come to enjoy, especially Louis L'Amour. The Sackett series, reading 17 books over the course of 8 or 9 months with a bunch of other guys and gals was not going to be something I was going to stick with, and I have. And then the nonfiction book In the Heart of the Sea was fantastic. One of the better nonfiction books I've read, and I've really enjoyed nonfiction, believe it or not. And so, yeah, definitely have grown. Number 3, who would you recommend for a newbie to watch on YouTube? Steve Donahue, Book Chat with Pat, Robert G. Reader of Books, all have great channels, a lot of information, very well read, very insightful. They all have different attributes they bring to the table, and it's all around a very longer experience with books, education, and a lot of other different fields. And then, Tim at Secret Fire Books, Jake at Pulp Mortem, Nick at the Book Graveyard brings some humor, a lot of great insight to like sci-fi and fantasy, and other fiction. And I think they are fantastic gentlemen. They have their elusive, exclusive book society. They just really humorous, down to earth guys talking books. It's great. You should definitely check them out. I give Jake a hard time all the time, and they're definitely ones that give it right back. And so really great guys. Pat, Steve, Robert, they're all great. You should definitely check them out. Number 4, do you have a book bucket list? Obviously I'm reading The Count of Monte Cristo. That was on that. I want to get to Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, probably in the Halloween time or spooky season. The Iliad and the Homer are books that are on my bucket list. And I want to read a Hemingway novel by Ernest Hemingway. Always been on kind of my bucket list as well. Branching out to old school authors, classics more. And so, yeah. Number 5, what is it about BookTube that surprised you the most? The community. I mean, it's overly positive. People are passionate about books. It's, and I think the other thing is it's hard not to feel overstimulated, a little overwhelmed, because when you get on here and you see everyone hauling and doing all these tags and all these videos and you see all these books around, like it's hard not to bounce around like, I got to have that. Oh, I need to check this author out. Oh, that sounds interesting. It's hard to stick with a plan. It's hard to not feel like you got to buy, or you got to find, or you got to research, or you got to, yeah. It's, you have to have some restraint a little bit, because it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of great information. There's a lot of great books, and people talk about them, and they'll resurrect something that, you've had your eye on, or you meant to read, or you read many, decades ago. And the next thing you know, you just want to binge. It's very easy, especially depending on how your personality is. So yeah, that's surprised me. Number 6, what are some of your goals? Doesn't have to be BookTube related. I plan on walking about 1,500 miles in the course of the remainder of 2025. That's one of my goals. I have a daughter graduating college next month. I have a soon-to-be teenager in the end of the year. Time management is a huge thing. Is huge. Number 7, if you could meet, dead or alive, any writer, artist, or musician, who would they be? For writer, I would have to say Louis L'Amour, Kerouac, Conan Doyle, all come to mind. Maybe Howard, Lovecraft. Those would be interesting authors to meet. Artists, I would probably say Salvador Dali, Da Vinci would be artists I would be interested in talking to, meeting. And musicians, probably Kurt Cobain, Lane Staley. I mean, they are like an alternative grunge time period where I was growing up as a teenager in high school, when Nirvana and Alice in Chains were big. That is my type of music I listened to growing up, and I still have and listen to today. So I would definitely like to meet them. 2 guys that died in the prime of their careers and young. And so, yeah. Number 8, would you rather have your life written by your favorite author or portrayed in a movie by your favorite actor or actress? I would say probably written by my favorite author, but I don't know, my favorite author would be the one. I think if someone was going to write my story, probably Joe Hill would probably be the author that would probably have the best way to pull it off, to execute that, because I think he's closer to me in age. When I read some of his stories, and he makes some nods to different music, it's similar music. Some of the things that he says, or he has the characters and how they're described or conversing, seems similar to my childhood or growing up in high school. So I think he would be one that would be interesting to write me. I think he could do a really good job of executing it. Number 9, what are some of the challenges you have overcome or would still like to improve in regards to your channel? Balance, quality, keeping myself kind of balanced and challenging myself to stick with my roots, meaningful book reviews, insights around authors and favorite characters, let me know videos, stuff that are in kind of my core wheelhouse, continuing with Saturday Shorts, doing less book tags, to be honest with you, and focusing on those type of things. I'm passionate about that, and I think it comes out in across in my videos. And so those are the things that I would like to continue working towards. Number 10, what advice would you give to someone that is thinking about deleting their YouTube channel? First and foremost, don't. That's my knee-jerk reaction, but we're all human. If it behooves you to, or puts you in a better spot with your personality or your emotional mental health to walk away from it, then yeah, you definitely need to do what's best for you. But I also think before you make a decision like that, evaluate, or try to change something up, or step away from it for a while. Because you have to remember your why of you're here. A lot of us are here because it's a hobby, or we're passionate about talking about books or characters or authors. And that's great. And I think that's definitely why you should be here. But it's very easy, like I said before in one of the earlier questions, to be overwhelmed, to be kind of all over the place about different things, or to feel like, YouTube is not about numbers, because it is. I think we all have to come to the realization that YouTube is about numbers, because it's about money. And so that's why the algorithm is the algorithm. It's about clicks, view time, everything else. If YouTube wasn't about numbers and those type of things, then we would all, not try to get to a certain thresholds to monetize, because it wouldn't be about watch hours or clicks or subscriber counts. It would be just about, our content, or the quality of our content, but it's not really about that. You could argue that indirectly they should go hand in hand. In some cases, they absolutely do. But there's an argument to be made that in some cases, some of these larger channels are about stuff that shouldn't be quality, at least shouldn't be maybe valued in our society, but it is. And that's discouraging to a degree, but it is the way it is. And there's nothing we can do to change that, but we can just try to put out value and quality and good content that actually matters. And so I think that's the beauty of BookTube. You know, you have to take the good and the bad. And so, yeah, that's my advice. Remember your why. That's always prevalent, regardless if it's BookTube or anything in life. So, and then lastly, tagging others. So who are we going to tag here? We're going to start with Books with Blake, Stuart Griffin, CG Rated Books, Book Chat with Pat, Robert G. Reader of Books, David Murphy, Book Buds, Adventures in Literature, Bookstalgic, Talia Nerds Out, Read and Reread, Books with Sam, Hannah's Books, David Novak reads poetry. I'm going to move the camera here so I can see my list. Nicole's Bookish Nook, Storm Reads, Sue Jackson, Peter the Book Lover, and Livia's Crafts and Books. So you've all been tagged in the Clean Slate book tag. I want to thank again Jess at Jess Book Girl TV for tagging me in this. Sorry again, Jess, this took so long. I hope you all enjoyed this and have a great week. I will talk to you all in the next one. Thanks.